All right, man. Yeah. So, how have you been in everything? How have you been? How's everything going? With you because I remember the last time we spoke. It was actually like for 2018. So about a year and a half ago. You're at StyleCon. That's when we met.
Yep,
You're
you're
you
talking.
you're a GA at the time.
Yep,
You got your MBA or MPA,
I got an MPA,
public administration, right?
Public Administration. Yep.
And so I remember you had started INJ Style. At least that's when I had first met you, and now it's I am Mr.
Yeah.
Martinez.
Yep. Yep. I ended up doing it solo because I was with my brother, and that's why it was like INJ style. But after a while, my brother just kind of like got into his own thing, and then he was just like, like I can't keep up with it. He just like, why don't you just do something on your own? And I was like, I mean, that's fine. I'd rather have you tell me that you don't want to do this anymore than for us to keep going, and then you're just not as engaged, or you know. So I think it was a good move for me because um, I felt that sometimes it was like if he didn't want to, then I didn't do anything, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like not just myself. I do everything by myself. So um, it was kind of a good change. Like it was different because I was with my little brother, and it was just kind of like something cool that we did together. But now it's just something that I'm doing by myself. And from that though, I've like grown a lot, like a lot, like creative wise, and stuff like from vlogging, I like doing videos now and all that.
Yeah, definitely. And so I remember I was going through my Instagram feed, and for a while I really didn't like when I had first, because I didn't have an Instagram prior to StyleCon. So this was like last year in February, and
Yeah,
so I probably had maybe like 10 pics. And like I just really didn't invest it. Like I followed so many people who didn't follow me back, and then I remember I started putting out content. And this was before analytics. This was before story. This was before Instagram TV. Um,
hmm
and so from there, it just really kind of I didn't know what to do with it because I couldn't like invest into it. And I remember I had met you, I'd followed you, and y'all were doing great. He had his page, you had your page, and then you had the INJ style page, so that was really
right.
cool.
hmm
And going on from that, so you were INJ style originally. What
Yeah,
was the process? Because first of all, to build a brand, your own personal brand, that's difficult already.
right.
What was the process when you like obviously when you created a new page, what was the process of completely changing, INJ style to I am Mr. Martinez?
Well, it was hard because after my brother told me like, like, dude, I'm not gonna continue with this with you. Um, at that moment, I was just like, okay, now I have to like completely rebrand this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to stop doing what I really loved to do just because the other person just wasn't in it with me.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I was just like, okay, that's cool. So and I just shut down INJ. Like the account is still on Instagram, but it's not an active account. I never even go in there anymore. But I told myself I was just like I just need to rebrand, and I had a lot of brands that wanted to work with me just on my own, like just by the stuff that I was posting on my own Instagram, my
Yeah.
personal one. So I'm kind of glad that we both had our Instagrams, and then we had one that was together because I felt that if we only had that one account together and that was all I had, I was gonna be out a lot of things, right? I was just gonna have
Yeah.
to transfer everything and all the brands that had worked with us before. It would be like, okay, so what happened to both of you guys, and then not one of you guys, but all the brands that were still with me all but like solo. They didn't care, so I was just like, okay, I got to rebrand, and I'm still working on rebranding because I don't have like an actual logo. I have a logo, but it's not the one that entails everything that I want it to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely still something that's growing, and I'm still growing. Like everything that I still want to do with it. But at the same time, I need to find those connections to kind of make a logo. But all in all, afterwards, I just kind of sat down and I was just like, I need to think about a couple of names. and I just came up with like I am Mr. Martinez. A lot of people use the I am and then whatever, so I was just like I am Mr. Martinez. I was gonna choose I am Ivan Martinez, but somebody had already taken that,
Yeah,
and everybody has every name in the book, so I didn't want any underscores. I didn't want any numbers. I
just
didn't want
short, sweet, to the point.
so just like I am Mr. Martinez. Nobody else had it, and it was perfect. So I think all in all, I'm still in that rebranding phase, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or like branding phase. But everybody seems to know what's up now. Whereas in the beginning, it was a really hard thing because it was just like, oh, dude, like, weren't you like INJ before? And
And you didn't want to lose your followers.
no, no. So again, that's why I like the fact that I had my own
Yeah.
thing, and then I had this other thing that was joint because then I never lost any followers. My followers just like, oh, okay, so like, and I think I did post it out there that I was just like, I'm not gonna do this thing. I'll do my brother, but then for unforeseen things, we decided to like just go on our own separate paths. Still gonna be posting everything, and I did put it out to my followers, and I just changed everything. So my Facebook page, um, Instagram, my email, I had to change it. I had to get a whole new website. That was difficult. Yes,
Yeah.
I had Wix before with INJ, and I was still posting in INJ for blogs.
Mm-hmm.
For blogs, I was still going through INJ, but then somebody told me just like you got to change that because that's no longer you. So you got to change it. So I was like, all right, I'll change it. So I ended up doing that, and
And do you still use Wix, or you use something else?
oh, I use Squarespace now.
Okay.
People were telling me like Squarespace is really cool and blah blah, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll try that. So that's what I've been up to just on Squarespace. So I do all my blogging and all my stuff there. But it's definitely been
A journey.
a journey. Yeah, yeah. That happened like what, I think, a year and a half ago.
Probably not too long after we met. Maybe. Probably. I think it kind of continued. A little bit more, but then I mean, at one point, how you say things start becoming stagnant, and I think that's one of the biggest setbacks for
Oh,
anybody is you either get stagnant or you get complacent or you start to slowly just draw back.
right.
And although it's a great journey, I mean, I look at your followers, you pretty much use your own personal account to just transition the name, the brand, and obviously you're kind of still in recovery.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think something like that was something that happened to me. I started
Oh,
out as Gray House Consulting, menswear styling, and professional development.
yep.
And at the time when I had first met you, I was actually still about to graduate that summer. I had an idea, I just didn't know where I want to take it. So I went back as a GA, and believe it or not, the GA position, it was great. It got my feet wet. It gave me a whole new ideas. I did marketing, event planning. I pretty much crammed everything into it. But the thing
Yeah.
that after that, and I became a recruiter. The recruiting job didn't go well. So now I still have an 8 to 5, but now I'm an office manager. But I'm able to use the skills that I learned from my past 2 jobs to
Hmm.
completely rebrand my company to Gray House Consulting, Menswear Styling, and Professional Development to just professional development.
Okay.
Because there was a course that I took in my master's program. It was training and development, and then it like big picture, like really big picture, similar to you. Pretty much, it doesn't matter who, what, when, where, or why. Everybody has to learn something. You had to learn how to rebrand.
Yep.
You had to learn how to engage your followers in this way and this way. And professional development, in short, is just how to prevail your current knowledge, skills, and abilities through education. Everybody has to learn. If you stop learning, you're never going to grow. And so that was something that was able to pull back from what I learned in class and what I had applied. And now it's, pretty much how to get yourself from this point A to point B with your time, with your money, with your work history, with, from the way you speak to the way you dress, even being an office manager now because I've created an entire department. It doesn't matter what the department was, but that I created a department and the HR stuff in that. I'm getting practical experience, and it's something that now I consult business professionals. This is how you do this.
Okay.
As a recruiter, I was able to, look at a whole bunch of resumes, and now I'm able to target, hey, if you want your resume critiqued, or if you need help with the interview, I'm your guy, because I've
Right.
done it before. I've seen over 10,000 resumes, and it's like I know what a good resume is and a good candidate over bad. And some people may be good in person, but they suck on paper. And if you can't get that stuff on paper, you can't move forward. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a really good idea where it was, although there's a learning curve, now
Mm-hmm.
you're starting to see, like, okay, this is where we're going.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and I remember briefly talking about that. And I was following you um where you were mentioning that you were going to be a GA, and that was pretty dope because I mean that's something that I did when I was in school, and I think that um it's funny though, and I think that's where we kind of have a lot of things in common because when I was in school and I was doing all my GA stuff, I was doing about the same thing, like doing marketing, event planning, all that other stuff all together all at once. So it definitely gave me a bunch of knowledge about a whole group of other things that I had never done in my life, and that my major had nothing to do with. Uh, it really didn't.
Yeah.
But event planning is one of those things, and all those skills are also something that I use. But one of the biggest things that I think and that I definitely encourage people to do is that if you are a creative or if you are like looking to uh, like get into a different world or all that other stuff, being at a school is probably the fucking best place to be at for that stuff. Like towards the end, and I didn't like. I think I was so stupid and not.
Yeah. Like, I think it's more naive. Yeah.
Right up until like the last year and a half of my school, like the last year and a half of my master's, is when it finally all started clicking, right? Like, I had met another dude. He was like on Instagram. I had met like some other dudes that were doing photography. I had met some other dudes in the art department
Hmm.
that were doing something else. I met dudes that were doing marketing and business. I met like a bunch of people doing that. So I was like, why didn't I do this
Before.
before and meet these people? Because now I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna get the heck out the door, and I'm not even gonna be in this hub of just creativity. You get what I mean? Because once you're on the real world and like you're doing like your 8 to 5 or whatever, that same creativity isn't flowing as much as everybody else because everybody's in school. People are younger. They have nothing else to
They have
worry
more
about.
free time, and that's the thing with an 8 to 5 is that you lose that freedom of time. And sometimes I wish I could have started earlier when I was in college,
Yep.
because now it's like, well, now I can't just wake up. I don't want to go to class and skip class. Now it's like, crap, I have to go to work.
Right, right. It's like I have to go to work. I have to like do this. I have to pay bills. I have to do that stuff. Right. So I definitely, I definitely encourage a lot of people when they're in school, just like, dude, you got to take advantage of all the resources. Not even like whatever you want to do for schooling, but like the stuff that you want to do, like even to get, a part time or part time doing something completely different than what you want to normally do in your career. Um, so yeah, I think that like your path and my path have gone a little bit similar, but you've definitely gone a different way with your own brand too, because as you just said, you had something established once we met, and then you changed it too. So that was pretty similar. Mine, I had something too,
Hmm.
but then I had to stray away from that and change it up. So um, I do like that idea of like professional development. That's really cool. I think that professional development has a lot to do with like men's style, because uh, I mean, the way that you dress definitely impacts the way that you feel.
and it
And
and it's also the way as you speak, the way you persuade, and
yeah,
pretty much professional development is just how can I do more with the
hmm
24 hours a day that I'm given. And
oh
that's where I go back, and believe me, I completely understand. um, all these billionaires, millionaires, consultants, they all have this. They all, if there's one thing we have in common, we have 24 hours in a day. How do
yeah,
we
exactly.
spend it? And um, and and believe it or not, I realize now that I'm in the real world and I'm no longer talking about theories or stuff like that. I had to let my GA position go, and so I had to stop school. But I
Yep.
finished it this past semester, and then taking this time off, I realized, because I wasted so much time, and it wasn't really a waste of time, but
Sure.
just talking too much of theories instead of putting it into practicality. It's like, well, I have a business. If I go back to school, I may lose sight of what I can create within the next year because someone else may take it from me. And so
Right.
it's something like that where you say, it's like, man, I wish I should have, instead of gone out that Saturday, I wish I should have blogged. I wish I should have, instead of going, you know, let's just say, instead of going to an event, man, I wish I should have, gone to a conference or something, just to learn more. And
Okay.
it's really insane on how now it took me a while, but now I get up every day at 5:30 in the morning because that's the first step to be ahead of everybody else. And so
Yep.
I schedule my time. I have a schedule where I do this, and then in between it's just work. But I don't worry about work because that's just a formality. Um,
Right.
but in your sense, I know you had gotten your MPA.
Yep.
I know you were a GA. What did you do when you got your undergrad? That transition to GA, and do you have like an 8 to 5 now, or do you just do solely just entrepreneurship?
No, so my transition from my undergrad to my master's was relatively easy. I was working, I was already working in the office that I was gonna do my GA ship in.
Yeah.
So my boss, actually, my boss changed like twice while I was there.
Hmm.
Uh, but the person that hired me on as a GA first um, made the transition very easy because that person that was in that position too, he had been a GA for a while for that same office. So then afterwards, he was just like, "Yeah, man, I want to pick you up to be my GA, and this is what you have to do: do this, 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 and that." And then if I had any questions, I always went to him and just asked him like, "Hey, man, what do you think I should put here? What do you think I should do here?" And he was always there, and I definitely think of him as like kind of like a mentor to me in the professional aspect of it. And so yeah, so that transition was really easy to my MPA. Then when I was in my MPA, I was doing my masters and all that, but then I started getting into like the whole Instagram game and posting and all that other stuff. And then I started blogging too. So when I got into my masters, I like my way of thinking changed. It's just like you just said, my time is now scheduled. There's a structure where I have to do certain things at certain times, and I have to have it like that. I definitely think about when you said the whole Saturday thing. It was just like if I go out or whatever. I mean, I went out this Friday, and I
Hmm.
went out with cousins who was in town. And we ended up going out. The next day, I did nothing. Nothing. I did nothing, and you know how bad I felt?
Yeah.
The absolute worst. Like, I did nothing today. How do you feel about doing nothing for a whole day? And people do that all the time. They just don't do anything the whole day, and then they just sit there and just watch movies and Netflix all day, and just like, bro, you could like be building something on the other hand, right? Like, just
And yeah,
yeah,
I completely understand. You know, that's like I had to put in a lot of contingencies to ensure I have to do something. I
right,
schedule pretty much not my entire life, but just know that like I have to do something, even if it's only one thing today. So like, let's put it in your example. It's one of the steps of professional development is what do you do in your spare time? And I'm
right,
working on the guide. The guide's almost done. It's pretty much just in the best practices and editing stage. Um,
nice,
it's, examining your social environment. So who do you hang out with? If you hang out with bums, you're going to be a bum. Unfortunately, that's just the social conformity
all
that
reality,
happens. Yeah, it's a reality. And then that's why when you go to college, if you hang out with good people, you're going to be around good people, good things will happen. You hang around bad people, you may get kicked out for getting caught with
yeah,
drugs or DWI, whatever the case may be. And then the second step is your time is money. This time is money is, what are you doing in your free time? Are you binge watching Netflix? Are you doing nothing? Are you sleeping all day? Are you how they say what's it called? Fortnite takeover. It's
Oh
insane.
man.
It's like it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. It's nice to take a
Right,
break and
right,
take a step from reality. But then again, it's like I understand if you want to get out of reality for 30 minutes. I like to watch at least one episode, for a couple of minutes.
yeah,
One episode for like a session, and then like, all right, I have to get back to work, like get back to reality. And it's just one of those things where your time is money, and assessing your work history, because you have to think about it. You're a GA, you had a mentor. It really helped out because you knew how to grow with
right,
your casos and your work competence. But it was just at that time assessing your work history. It's like you know how to learn this particular way. There's four
right,
kinds of learners. Someone may put, here's a balance sheet, figure it out, but it's like I can't do that. Maybe you
right,
need a video, or maybe you physically need someone to show you, or maybe you just need to read it or just actually do it. And that's the thing that it breaks down, what kind of learner you are. Because
yeah,
if you know what kind of learner you are, you know what method is best to teach you. And that's the thing. And going to college, I have nothing against it. I just have and I like where I become cynical is, you think that is your stepping stone to succeed. It's just a foundation to fail, make mistakes, and learn before you make it into the real world. Um, and that's just one thing I look back. It's like I don't regret it. I'm done talking about theories. Let's put in a practicality. And I think one of the things is they they're a little bit behind on now that we take a marketing class, but they don't talk about social media. They just
right,
talk about general marketing, but it's like there is a psychological aspect to it. How do you do it? And it's just, if we weren't doing this thing right now, we weren't able to build those public relations, or being able to scale our business. And it's
right,
just that is my only setback on that particularly. Just give you a foundation, conform to everything else. Follow those trends. And I think that's a really good idea on how you were able to explain that time is money if you know how to spend it.
right. Yeah, I completely agree, and I think Warren Buffett. I've heard Warren Buffett say like, well, what's one of the things um, that you wish that you had, and it's just like I wish I had more time.
Yeah, yeah.
And like he has all the money in the world, but he wish he had more time. He could buy anything, but you can't buy time.
You can't buy time.
Can't buy time, and it's just like when I bet this happens to you all the time when you just sit and you're working. Like I spent like I think maybe like 2 Saturdays ago, I spent almost a whole day editing a video. The whole day. It's because first I'm learning it and how to edit, and I'm using a whole different software that I've never used in my
Yeah.
life. I'm not an expert. I never took a class on it, whatever. And it's just like, man, how do I do this? Go into YouTube, start looking this up. That takes up more time, and legit, it's just step by step by step by step. And just like, but I spent a whole Saturday learning a whole new skill that I could say, hey, if somebody needs me to edit a video, I can. I can. Will it be like the most top grade video? Maybe not. But that's just another skill that I've learned on a Saturday, where other people will be like, dude, let's go out, let's go have like a
Mm-hmm.
beer, and let's go out with like so, and they're gonna have a pool party at blah blah blah. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
man, it's the whole time thing, and then it's about like time management at the same time, and what you believe, and what you want to be, quote unquote, like important in your life. I understand that again, like you mentioned Fortnite or whatever, that that's really cool. It's a really cool video game or whatever, and people want to be on that, and people lose time just by like going on that. If that's what relaxes you, so be it. Like I mean, I take Wednesday nights and I watch a show,
Mm-hmm.
and I just sit and I watch the show. Um, it's only an hour long out of my time and all that, but at the same time, I might even be watching and I'm probably blogging at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I have to like. I think that once you get into the mode of doing this and wanting to do it and seeing the benefits from it, you want to continue and continue and continue. It's like you can start using little mini times. It's like I'll bring my laptop with me. I could probably go sit at a cafe and I can start typing. So definitely time management is something that I've learned so much of the last like year and a half of my masters up until now. That's just the way it is. And I wish I would have learned that way back. But you don't learn time management in school either.
Yeah. You just kind of.
You don't. Like you just do your own thing. You just do
And
your own. That's cool.
And yeah, and definitely, man, I complete, and I get really excited about talking like that because, practical skills, and it's something in my self-assessment guide is time management, and I even have a time quadrant that pretty much says you need to invest your time in this and stop wasting it in this, and it's more, what did college teach us? Undergrad, masters, I think it gave us a foundation to fail and a foundation on how to learn. Some of us have to be self taught. We can't learn from lectures, we can't learn from PowerPoints, and that's perfectly fine. But now,
Right.
how do we put it into theory? I also think that um, if you graduate with like a 4.0 and you just know how to get A's all the time, and the first time you get your first F and you have a total breakdown, I think you have to do some serious, serious, serious soul searching. I think Seth Godin said it, to figure out who you are, because if that is your case, you're probably a hamster on the hamster wheel, which is perfectly fine. But then note, there can only be one leader for so many workers, and if there's a leader within those workers, then there's most likely going to be like a situation like us where we have to break off on
Right.
that. And also, going on to that, I also think that college taught us, self-discipline. We have to go to class.
Yep.
The way we say time is money, well, if we don't go to class, there goes our money because they're already paid. And there's these subconscious aspects that college teaches you, that if we knew that when we were in high school, which was free, we would have been like, well, some people would benefit just going to an associate's, get a foundation, and then just start their own business.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think, in my opinion, if you know what you want to do, start acting on it and just be self-taught and go. Maybe go to a junior college; it's much cheaper. Don't water yourself in student debt. Just kind of build yourself a foundation. Because believe it or not, college has gotten more expensive. Inflation is through the roof right now, and I think in your sense, it's like with your master's degree, it's like, well, I knew what I learned, but
Yep.
why didn't you tell me how to apply it before? And it's like, what the heck is going on here? And going on from that, you became a GA, and
Yep.
after that, you're still doing this on the side. Is this primarily what you do now entirely? Because I know you're also like a brand's representative or a brand ambassador, and I'm
Yeah.
just trying to figure out how that prevailed.
So so after college, I started working like right afterwards because I started applying everywhere. So I'm a data analyst right now, for a brand for a company named Pearson.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like a multi-million dollar company or whatever. But
For
I do data analyst for them.
yeah,
Data analyst. And that's probably like your entry job position for anybody that's doing, like anything with like an MPA or an MBA or something.
yeah,
End up doing some kind of data analyst thing. I didn't, and it's funny because I got an MPA, but I'm doing something that an MBA person would be doing, which is like a private sector job, data analyst or whatever. So it's a little bit different. And and yeah, after I started like, um, when I got out of school, I was just like, I'm not gonna stop blogging, and I'm not gonna stop Instagram or anything like that. I'm only gonna keep getting better at it. And as I've been going, I've definitely gotten better and better and better, and I've started to represent these brands and whatnot. I think the first brand that I had to like represent, or that I have been representing, is the Gentleman's Box or whatever, and I've been working with them since like April of this year or something. I mean, it's not like brands jumped up and wanted to grab me at first
yeah.
sight. I mean, I didn't have anything, but as I progressed, and yeah, these brands did start looking out. I mean, the Gentleman's Bikes is one, and then I have a few other ones that just come in and out, like, represent this, or hey man, we're gonna send you this for free. Can you go ahead and like do a post on it, whatever, do a blog post? And it's it's different, and at the same time, um, that just has had me learn another skill, and that's being able to reach out to brands and ask them for stuff and give something else in return. That's something again that I didn't learn in school, to send like a let me sell myself to you real quick email. Like,
Yeah.
you, I'm blank, and I do this and I do that, and I would love to work with you, and If you'd love to, I can definitely do a blog or a video, whatever. Please let me know if you're willing to work with me. And that's something that I never learned in school. That's just something that I had to pick up on my own because
Or
I
you
want to
just
get.
had to bring it out like, well, this is how public relations works, you know. And
Really.
and I was actually there was, and I remember seeing your video, and I was super excited because my girlfriend, she got me some stuff from Sprezza Box, and or it's Sprezza
Nice.
Box. I remember you did a Sprezza Box, Gentleman's Box. Which one's better? um,
Yeah.
and I love the idea. That was the one thing I was like, oh my god, thank you very much, I love you,
Yeah.
but I can't use this, and it goes to practical stuff. So I have two here. I'm just gonna walk you through it and get your opinion on it.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I haven't
Alright.
opened it because I was waiting for this. Yeah, yeah. Um, so I'm just gonna get the tie because the tie is the most important part. That's pretty much their main seller, and
Yeah.
one of the things that I noticed that with the ties, you know, I love the tie, I love the concept, but how much do you weigh, Ivan?
I weigh like 160 pounds.
Okay, so you're 160, and you're like 5'7", right?
No, dude, I'm like 5'5". I'm glad that you.
So 5'5", you know, shorter guy, completely get it. You know, with
Yeah.
ties, it's gonna vary. I'm
Yeah.
5'9", 5'10", and I'm 250 pounds, which is a major difference. So I think the only biggest setback, not with all the other additional things, but the main teller, which is a tie, is right here that we have. You know, let me go ahead and get this here. I think the biggest issue is that, you know, we put these two ties together. Mine is, you know, the gray
Okay.
one in the back is actually bigger because it's made for my frame, and it's not wide enough for my frame. So it looks like I don't
You
fit
look
into the
weird.
tie. It looks weird, and it's all about proportions, especially with menswear styling and the stuff
Yeah.
that we do. You know, the average person, you know, they would just be like, okay, it's a cool tie. But then when you think about it, it's like, why does it look funny? People would like this would fit your frame as opposed to mine. And
Oh yeah.
I think, you know, other things that are practical minus the tie. I love the concept is, you know, you get glasses, or you get maybe what do they have in this one? You get a pocket square, which is great. You also get a shoe bag because, you know, when we get these $200 $300 shoes, we need
Oh
to
yeah.
make sure we keep them clean. That's practical. um, and, you know, a pair of socks, you can't go wrong with socks. I'm a sock person. um,
Yep.
and I think, you know, the only setback just with these two things, at least from what I remember, is just saying who, like, what kind of size tie can you wear. Because if
Mm.
someone's, you know, like, hey, I just want to, you know, build a collection of neat tricks and ideas. It's just, I need, if I'm 250, this tie needs to fit like my frame, as opposed to if I'm 110, you know, give me a skinny tie and it'll look fine on me. And I think I love the idea. I love the concept, especially because you don't know what you're going to get. But I think that would just make it a little bit more accommodable, especially for bigger people or the average American.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to talk about style, you know, you go to Dillard's or you go to Macy's or you go to any Sears, Old Navy, you know,
Mhm.
everything is a regular fit for the most part.
Oh yeah.
And so the average American, unfortunately, is like morbidly obese. So yeah, it fits them, but for us, we have to get it tailored. If we have an athletic body, you know, we don't have proportions. I'm like an extra large on top and then a 36 waist. That's a 10 12 inch difference for us.
Yeah.
And I think that's just one of the things is if you're going to target, you know, the average American to make it that more accommodating, and I think that would scale it just a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I think that's where people kind of don't see it, the proportions thing. It's always comes down to proportions because again, um, fashion and most people on Instagram are 6 feet and weigh like 150 pounds maybe of straight muscle,
Yeah.
and that's just the difference. It's just like I like you can try to look like them, and you could wear a skinny tie, but if let's say like they have your frame, it's like with the skinny tie, you're just gonna look weird, and you could be in style, like oh yeah, that's very stylish, and that or fashionable. Let's go with the word fashion because not even style. We're
Fashion
going
forward, yeah.
forward. And wear the skinny tie. It's like okay, you look fashionable, but you don't look proportional, and then that means that you're not even stylish, right? It's like because you lose the sense of looking stylish because you're not well put together because you don't know how to dress yourself. You're just dressing um, to what you see in Instagram or on TV or whatever it may be. It's just like you don't understand that those people, um,
They have a
it,
consultant or a stylist to help them out.
that too, they have somebody to style them, and that person knows how their proportions work. And I agree. I mean, a skinny tie isn't going to suit everybody, and that's exactly what you should be mentioning. Is just the fact that not everything is going to work for you. Not everything that's in the fashion world is going to fit you, and men get very lost in those lines.
and
Uh,
and also with like fashion
so,
forward items, yeah, definitely. Like skinny ties, like that's really fashion forward. But like a standard tie that's always in style. I mean, I think I laugh when I see those hex ties, and it's like,
oh my God, don't even get me started on
I
this.
know, believe me, they look great, but
Yeah,
where's the practicality? And it's like, I love the idea, but it's just, you just can't. It's too trendy, and there's a thing. There's a reason why it's called fashion and not style.
right.
Fashion's a trend, styles forever kind of thing. So going into that,
Yeah,
I love, we learn certain aspects, or we have to go back and be like, why did I learn this sooner? Now we're just playing catch up. Now it's how do we catch
yeah,
up and then move forward. Um, in your sense, going off from you're representing Gentleman's Box, and you're able
yeah,
to have these affiliate brands and all that stuff. I think that's amazing.
yeah.
What is your next big step with I am Mr. Martinez? Because you have your blog, you have your videos, you have your how tos.
Yep.
What is your next step to just pretty much scale your business in your free time? What's the next thing, other than rebranding, of course, that you're working on?
Sure. Um, I'm definitely working on being able to monetize my brand, just straight up, like in every single aspect. You talk like Instagram, my YouTube videos, everything. Just try to monetize it to an extent where just like I don't have to work 8 to 5. I just want to be completely like an entrepreneur, and it doesn't have to be that I'm just going to be doing YouTube and all these other things to get money. Like I want to be in a state where it's just like I'm getting a certain amount of income, and then I'm now playing with the money that I can get. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? While building a foundation and then playing with the money, and then investing in a different place. I definitely now that I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with videos and all that other stuff, I since I just kind of started YouTube, I want to be able to reach out to more brands and start doing that stuff more. And vlogs are going to kind of be like secondary now to opposed to my YouTube videos. That's going to be first. And it's funny how that switches now.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was just like Instagram blog. Now it's YouTube, Instagram, then my blog because it's just like people just like to see the stuff in your face now. People just don't really like reading anymore. So I definitely just want to get away from doing like an 8 to 5 and just kind of building on my own brand and just being my brand. So that's my next biggest step. I guess that's kind of like the overall arching
to
goal.
to build
But
that funnel.
yeah, but for at this moment, I just really want to build an audience, and that's one of the hardest parts of it, building an audience.
And believe me, I'm also in a similar boat with you. And I think it goes back to scheduling, is how do I do this and how does this work? Like YouTube, it's pretty much entertainment at our
Yeah.
feet. But now that we have Instagram TV, that's a next big step.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much putting in these hashtags and building on hashtag generators. A
Mm-hmm.
couple of tips that I could give you is that
Yeah.
instead of just doing, I think that the strategy for me is I take time out of my day to figure out what hashtags are working,
Okay.
what what keywords in my because now if I go on Google, now I'm in top ranking. Like if you go to Gray House
Okay.
Consulting, I'm top ranking, but it took a learning
Right.
curve for me to figure it out. And so going back to just learning and professional development, all that stuff, um, I always have time for research, and I think that's also a big point, is that college taught us how to research. even
Oh
though
yeah, that's
we even if we didn't like it, we had to do it. So now my research is, um, how do I automate a business, or how do I get these certain tags or keywords in, or Instagram TV, how can I use that now to be a little bit more productive? And it's pretty much like YouTube, just on an Instagram app. um, with Facebook, I pretty much schedule my stuff ahead of time. But I
uh,
had like a day before or an hour before to like brainstorm, like, okay, what is this gonna be? What are you benefiting from this? And my biggest tip, what's helped me so much, is although I have not generated or will I generate money from my self assessment guide to professional development, because it's a free guide. You know how you always get a free guide? Well,
yes, yes.
thinking big picture, I look at every other entrepreneur and every other website and stuff like that. What hit me was, hey, Ivan, I'm giving you this guide. Check it out. This is what I can do for you. It's free, but in that guide, I have it to where you want a phone call with me? Fine. It's a free phone call. We'll assess what you want to do. And then from there, it builds that funnel into an automated, like, how I say, it builds an automation to where I make it easier for them to, okay, here's a consultation. Like, you'll pay for it, but it's just, it took those psychological steps of, I'm giving you something, this is valuable, I worked hard on it, I believe in this because I wrote it, it's
Mm-hmm.
self-published, you know, I want you to know this is what I can provide for you. And it's pretty much this free business card to tell people this is what me, Ivan Martinez, I'm worth.
Right.
Consult with me, I can give you more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a really good step for your next thing. So,
Right.
you can blog and all that stuff, but just have that one thing where it's like it's free, and it's like pretty much a preliminary before the major course. And my next step is to build a few more guides, offer a few more insights and incentives to help people, like, hey, this is what I do, and
Right.
this is what I believe in. I want you to get this. And then we either go into a consultation, or maybe I develop a course, and I completely understand the idea of monetizing. It just takes that time is
Yep.
money idea, and instead of going out, put your money into this and just keep moving forward. It may not work out as far as I know, but at least that way I know what doesn't work. Try the next best thing.
Yeah, yeah, and there is a lot of trial and error in this, uh, a lot of trial and error, and that's one of the good things about it, that if it is, if you're doing it as a side hustle, for example, if it is just like a trial and error thing, you can fail, you can pick it up again, fail, pick it up again, fail, pick it up again. It's not like at work where it's just like if you try something and you completely biff it, that's your ass and you might get fired for it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't get fired out of something that you can do on your own, that you're doing as a side hustle. You just kind of figure out what works, and then, like, either improve from whatever critique you get and move on and drive on and make it even better. That's something that you can't do while you're working like an 8 to 5. Like, you have to do it right every single time. So I definitely think that's good. I definitely think that it's really good to have something, and I think you are following the what is it, the Gary V thing, where it's just like give free, 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 like free, 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 and then like that jab, jab, right hook thing,
Mm-hmm.
where you're giving a lot of free stuff, and then at the end it's just like, don't worry, like, it will come. Like, if you build it, they will come. So I do agree on that, and yeah, definitely. I have been thinking about making something, but I'm not sure if I want to make something, and I think that I want to go into the route of, because I just got to, like, to be an Amazon affiliate, so I'm just going to be doing that off of YouTube and then trying to build revenue off of that. Um, because I want to do I want to do my brand to an extent where just like I can do like public speaking or something at like schools and stuff, and at a basis of, like, how to dress better, or your own professional development, as we've said. So it's definitely a lot of things all at once that I definitely want to do, and it's just gonna come as I progressively grow.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I do like that idea that you do have that as an ability, and I need to learn from you on how to be better with like SEO stuff, because my SEO stuff. Like, I have no idea.
It's tough. It's a really weird learning curve.
I bet, yeah, because and it was funny because I think it was no Wednesday. I didn't feel that good, so I just didn't go to work that day. But then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go to work, but I'm still working at home. It's funny. It's just like I'm not doing work, but I'm doing the work that I want to do. So I was doing a bunch of other things, and I had a list, and my list at the end was just like look up SEO because I had no clue about it. And people keep talking about like you need to kill SEO, you need to kill it because you want to be at the top rank of Google,
Mm-hmm.
especially with blogs, because or else my blog's never going to be seen. And it's just like you're right because my analytics, as if I post it and I post on Instagram, like it goes like this, but it's a peak. It's not a little
That
pickup and then
flat
go
line, yeah.
flatline. But I need to be flatline, or else if it's doing this thing all the time, it just means that people are only reading it because I'm posting it on Instagram, which is cool at the very moment. But then if they're not coming to get more stuff, I'm not gonna do anything. So I definitely need to learn that, and then maybe you can help me out on that aspect of how to build SEO and how to like use those keywords to like put them in there. I also do the hashtag thing, and I pick out hashtags that work best for me, and they have been working. So I do like when I post in the morning, I use a different set of hashtags than
Mm-hmm.
I do in the afternoon, or at night if I post a picture at night or a video. But I've been trying to trial and error with all those things with the hashtags, but keywords and SEO are definitely something that I just have no clue about.
And it's one of those things that, like, I've always said this is, you may know so much. You may kick my ass as a data analyst, but I kick
Mm-hmm.
your ass in something else. And the funny thing is, SEO is data analyst in Google. And it's one of those
So
things where I try to take weaknesses and turn them into strengths. But the thing is, I don't want to just consult somebody and say, I'm the expert. You will never be the expert. I want to give people that stepping stone where here, now I want you to grow on your own.
right,
And so I like building that funnel with me, and
yeah,
also in that sense, it's like, how like every business owners, I'll just keep everything in house. You can keep everything in house, but if you're a shitty accountant, own it so you can get a decent accountant. Because that's the thing is, and me, I hate accounting. I don't like it, but I know enough where, although I can do it, I prefer not to and focus on marketing, which is my expertise. And going into that, you know, just to pretty much scale it all up,
mm-hmm.
um, when I started my website, it looked like shit. And then I started looking at other people's websites. I looked everything from the font to what was the overall perception, paragraph, how many slides, how this works, and pretty much I was able to what I was writing like an entire essay, just cram it in, make it easier, make it short, give questions that people are looking answers to, and just say this is what it is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and in terms of if you look at my original site and you look at mine now, you're like, dude, what did you do? I'm like, someone told me, or I saw a video, or I did a podcast, or I just used it from like somebody else's pretty much website, and I just transferred it to mine. But the thing is, I don't look at it as here's a website. I look at how the website is. What's the how? And that's where like I've never been a hamster in the hamster wheel. Going to SEO, I saw a video. I looked on blogs. I downloaded a guide. I got outside help. And from there, it was trial and error. I changed my name. I had to put in different keywords. And now, if you just type in Gray House Consulting, I think I'm second or third, you're just going to see grayhouseconsulting.net, Isaac Martinez, professional development expert. Here it is. And it just took a while because,
You're right.
and it takes a while. But the thing is, I don't do it as in coding. I do it as in just keywords, SEO, building that paragraph, and then here it is.
Oh,
It does do that. But yeah, man, I have no problem helping you out in that area.
yeah,
There is a
yeah.
big learning curve.
Oh my God, yeah, it is. Yeah.
But other than that, I'm actually, when I finish this, I'm gonna go ahead and post your link. If you have anything you want to send me, if you have a picture, so at least that way I can put it as part of a thumbnail, that'd be great. But I just want you to know, man, I'm here for you. I'm excited. I hope your rebranding gets
Yeah.
better. And if anything, you have my email, you have my number.
Oh yeah,
Any way I can help you, any way we can collab. I'd love
sure.
to do this again. Maybe we can go gentleman's box or Sprezza box, or maybe talk about more menswear styling or where you're at. That'd be really great, man.
Yeah, man, we can definitely work something out. We can collab on a video or something and kind of talk. I mean, one of the things that I see that people love are just kind of like two people having a conversation about like style. People actually love that. Um, you know, uh, finding out what proportions are. People don't know what their proportions are. People don't
Yeah.
know what that to an extent. So we could definitely work something out. I definitely will be in contact with you though. In regards to like all the SEO stuff, I mean, I'm gonna be doing my own research on all that, but I would definitely want to kind of, kind of hear what you have learned and kind of like, hey man, I found this out, but like, do you know if it would work or how did you do it
Hmm.
so you could show up as a third ranking person on Google because that's hard to do,
Hmm.
really hard to do. So I definitely think there's a lot to learn from that. And yeah, man, I mean, whatever you have in mind for doing a collab, I mean, I could definitely help out with that, and we can post it up and have a conversation or something, or we could talk about the gentleman's box versus the other box again. I mean,
And I think that would be our next big step. Pretty much, if we want to talk about style, great. How does someone who's 250 at 5'10" versus someone who's 160 at 5'5"? That's almost 100 pound different. That's a 5 inch difference, and that would be great, man. But
yeah,
thank you very much for having me here. Thank you very much for
yeah.
taking this interview,
Thanks
and
so much for your help, my man. Thank
you
you.
have my contact info. And other than that, man, I really wish you the best of luck, dude.
Yeah, man, I wish you the best of luck too, man. Feel free to always message me and see what you're working on and stuff. I love that. I try to keep up with all my bloggers and all my creative friends and stuff, and just see how they're doing and how they're building and how they're growing and stuff. That just makes me feel all the better about what's going on. Because that's how I see it, especially with us Latinos. It's just like, man, like we gotta help each other, man. Because I mean, we're a growing, but at the same time, we have that the crabs in a cage
Mm-hmm.
syndrome. You know that one?
Mm-hmm.
Where like you see one of them crawling out, they're almost gonna make it out. You have the other one just pull it down.
Yeah, yeah, those hermit crabs. I've seen those.
It's kind of messed up at the same point, but it's just like man, like some Latinos are just like they'll be on their grind and stuff, and then you'll like say something and be like, hey man, you want to do something? Just like no, I don't want to work with you, something like that. Just like man, like we can help each other out so much,
Yeah,
and like we're all Latinos, we're all here to like trying to get a voice for each other, and we don't even want to help each other out for some reason. Just like, I feel like that's horrible. It's just like we should be on the other end of the spectrum. We should be a united fronted group where just like we can have like if we wanted to have a conference just on nothing but Latino creatives, we could definitely go ahead and do that. But like at the same time, we don't have one.
and I think for us, pretty much to wrap that up, I think next big target, and it just gave me an idea for us, pretty much to target our own Latino community,
Yeah,
pretty much because believe it or not, I'm first generation
yeah,
graduated college. I'm sure you are too, and so stuff like that to tell people like this is what we're told, because they're blue collar workers, we're white collar now. This is
yeah.
our best recommendations, and this is how we can propel yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, gotta help each other out because if one of us is doing good, that means we're all doing good. You get
Yeah,
what I mean? That's the mentality people need to have, but the mentality that we don't have for some reason. So we gotta understand that you're growing. It's just like that's cool, man. That means I'm winning too because I know whatever you learn, you're gonna teach me that too. Because you're not gonna be an asshole and not tell me like, hey man, what's
yeah,
good? Let me hook you up with this. I was having a conversation with this other guy one time, and he's like, yeah, man, I definitely want to like work with brands just like you're doing and all that other stuff. And I was like, man, let me hit up this person that does this stuff for this brand. Let me see if they wanna, I'll pitch your name out there, and like helping people out like that because it's just like some people just don't do that. And I hate the fact that some people just don't do it, and our
yeah.
community sometimes filled with just like me against you. You ever feel like that? It's like always the me against you thing, especially along the lines of like men's style, men's creative and stuff like that. It's always
And yeah, I completely understand. I think for me personally, coming from, you know, a Latino community, coming from Latinos, we're Latinos, somos iguales, tenemos raza, like we have our own gente, but the way I look at it, and I even have it on the bottom of my page, if you're, you know, a mentor, an influencer, a coach, like any kind of somebody like who wants to make an impact on a community. For us, it's Latinos, and for us, it's for me, I see big picture for the entire world.
Oh yeah.
My thing is business is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Let's go kick some ass together. And
Yep.
that is the whole purpose of just like this phone call is collaborating, building this relation, and building a next foundation to move up in the world.
Oh yeah. Gotta help each other out, man. For sure. Yeah, man. Well, thanks again, man, for the call, and yeah, man, we'll stay in touch. For
Definitely,
sure.
man. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you take care. If you have any questions, you have my contact info, and we'll see where we can get you to the next step.
Yeah, man. Thanks again, man, and I'll see you later, and I hope you have a good day as well.
You too. Take care, man.